Valve is back in the spotlight. The company that redefined PC gaming once might be about to do it again. The Steam Deck changed everything. It wasn't just another handheld console. It was a portable PC, a full desktop in your hands, capable of running the same games you'd play on your gaming rig. And now, after months of silence, leaks are pointing toward the next big move, the Steam Deck 2. It's not just a rumor anymore. The pieces are lining up. Developers are whispering. Benchmark data has surfaced. New patents have appeared. And Valve themselves have dropped small but meaningful hints that something major is brewing. So, let's not get lost in the noise. Let's break it down. The real leaks, the real changes, the real upgrades that matter. Because if the first Steam Deck was revolutionary, the Steam Deck 2 might just be the evolution that defines the next decade of portable gaming. The legacy of the original Steam Deck. Before we jump into the leaks, let's rewind. The first Steam Deck launched in early 2022. And when it didn't just compete, it created a whole new market. Portable PCs weren't new, but none of them had the polish, the ecosystem, or the performance-to-price ratio Valve delivered. It ran SteamOS. It handled AAA games. It had a solid AMD custom chip, great controls, and a surprisingly open software experience. You could install Windows, emulators, or any launcher you wanted. It was freedom in your hands. But it wasn't perfect. The screen was 720p, bright, but not amazing. The battery life struggled under heavy load. The fan noise could get loud. And while the device was powerful, it couldn't always push high settings in modern games without compromise. Yet, despite all that, it was a success story, a proof of concept that worked. Valve listened to feedback. They improved the OS, optimized games, and built a strong community around updates. The Steam Deck didn't just sell. It stayed relevant, even 2 years later. And that's rare in handheld gaming. So what's next? How do you follow up something that already changed the game? You do it by learning from everything that came before and building smarter, faster, and bolder. The processor, a new power core. Every major leak so far points to one thing, the processor. The heart of the Steam Deck 2 is where the biggest change might happen. The original deck used a custom AMD APU, a Zen4 CPU with RDNA 2 graphics. It was solid, efficient, and perfectly balanced for 720p to 800p gaming. But technology moves fast. AMD has since launched Zen4 CPUs and RDNA 3 graphics. The leaks suggest Valve's next custom chip, possibly named Sephiroth, based on internal AMD code references, will combine Zen4 cores with RDNA 3 graphics in one efficient package. What does that mean in real terms? Think about double the performance per watt, better frame rates, more consistent performance, and smoother gameplay without draining your battery as fast. It's not just raw power, it's smarter power. Zen4 brings new architecture improvements that make every instruction faster. RDNA 3 offers hardware-level ray tracing support, better upscaling compatibility, and major efficiency gains. Together, this combo could let the Steam Deck 2 hit 1080p gaming comfortably without cooking your hands or killing your battery in an hour. And that's the point. Valve doesn't want to make a handheld gaming laptop. They want to make something portable, reliable, and fun to use for hours. The CPU and GPU improvements are how they'll get there. Display, the visual leap we wanted. One of the most requested upgrades for the next Steam Deck is the display, and the leaks point to a major step forward. According to sources close to manufacturing partners, Valve has been testing multiple panels for the Steam Deck 2, including a 7.4-inch OLED screen with a 1080p resolution. If that sounds familiar, it's because OLED has already proven itself in the handheld world. The Nintendo Switch OLED showed how much a display can transform the user experience without touching performance. But Valve's implementation could go further. The new panel is rumored to support higher brightness, a wider color gamut, and possibly a 90 Hz refresh rate. That might not sound huge on paper, but in practice, it's massive. OLED means deeper blacks, better contrast, and more vibrant colors. Games will pop off the screen. Cutscenes will feel cinematic. Even the desktop mode will look sharper and more alive. And that 90 Hz refresh rate, That's about smoothness. It makes scrolling through menus, browsing the web, and navigating the OS feel more fluid. Valve understands that responsiveness is as important as raw specs. Another big win: improved touch sensitivity and reduced latency. The Deck 2 might finally offer a touch experience that feels snappy and accurate, not just good enough. This screen upgrade could be one of the most visible changes, literally. It's the first thing players notice, and it sets the tone for the whole experience. Battery and efficiency, the real challenge. If there's one thing every Steam Deck owner talks about, it's battery life. The original Deck could last anywhere from 1.5 to 8 hours, depending on the game. That's a wide range. With more powerful hardware, you'd expect shorter battery life. But that's where Valve's engineering gets clever. The new AMD chip's efficiency, paired with smarter power management, could actually deliver longer battery life, even at higher performance. Leaks suggest a larger 50 to 55 watt-hour battery, compared to the original's 40. Combined with better thermal design and new low-power modes, that could mean up to 9 or even 10 hours of mixed use. Valve might also integrate adaptive refresh rate technology. That means the screen automatically lowers its refresh rate during static scenes or less demanding moments. You save power without even noticing. And since SteamOS has matured, software optimization plays a big role here too. Valve's updates already reduced idle drain and improved battery estimation. The Steam Deck 2 will likely ship with SteamOS 4 or higher, a version designed from the ground up to maximize efficiency on the new hardware. This isn't about chasing battery numbers. It's about making gaming feel seamless. You won't have to think about power management anymore. You just play. Design, familiar but refined. When something works, you don't throw it away. You refine it. That's exactly what Valve seems to be doing with the Steam Deck 2's design. Leaks and CAD drawings suggest the new deck won't look drastically different from the first one. The same ergonomic shape, same button placement, and same thumbstick layout. Because comfort is key. The original design was already excellent for long sessions. But the refinements matter. The grips are rumored to be slightly reshaped. More rounded, better balance, smoother edges. The triggers could have deeper travel. The trackpads might be larger and more responsive. Valve is also reportedly experimenting with improved cooling vents and quieter fans. That alone will make a big difference. The first Deck's fan noise was noticeable, especially during intense gameplay. A redesigned cooling system could keep temperatures down while keeping noise levels low. And then there's the build material. Early reports say Valve might move to a new polymer composite, lighter but more rigid. That means the Deck 2 could shave off a few grams while feeling sturdier in your hands. It's evolution through small, smart details, not a redesign for the sake of change. Storage, faster and smarter options. Speed matters, especially when you're running massive PC games. The Steam Deck 2 is rumored to use PCIe Gen 4 SSDs, a big leap from the Gen 3 drives in the first model. That means faster boot times, quicker game loading, and snappier OS navigation. We might also see a new base storage configuration. Instead of starting at 64 gigabytes like the original, the Deck 2 could start at 256 gigabytes, with 512 gigabytes and 1 terabyte models above it. And yes, microSD expansion will stay. Valve knows players love flexibility. But this time, the card slot might support faster UCHES-2 speeds for better external performance. Storage isn't flashy, but it's what keeps the experience smooth. No one wants to wait 2 minutes for a game to load. Valve seems to know that well. Operating system, SteamOS 4 and beyond. Hardware is only half the story. The software is what brings it all to life. SteamOS has quietly evolved since 2022. It's smoother, faster, and more stable. But the Steam Deck 2 will likely debut with SteamOS 4, and that's where the real magic begins. Built on a new Linux kernel, SteamOS 4 could bring better hardware detection, improved performance scaling, and more compatibility with modern games through Proton. Valve's Proton layer, the tech that lets Windows games run on Linux, has already become incredibly powerful. But the next version may bring even tighter integration, faster shader compilation, and fewer stutters in heavy games. There's also talk of a new performance assistant, an AI-powered system that automatically tunes settings per game. Instead of you manually adjusting resolution, frame limit, or TDP, SteamOS could do it dynamically in real time. That's the kind of intelligent system that turns a handheld into something truly user-friendly. You won't need to be a tech expert to get the best out of it. The OS will also integrate more cloud-based features, like syncing settings across devices, easier remote play, and smoother transitions between handheld and docked modes. Valve's goal is clear. Make the deck feel like a console when you want it, and a PC when you need it. Docking experience, the hybrid future. The Steam Deck already supports docking, but it was never fully streamlined. The official dock worked well, but the experience could be inconsistent depending on your setup. Valve wants to fix that. Leaks mention improved display output options, possibly HDMI 2.1 or DisplayPort 1.4, supporting up to 4K output for external displays. That means you could dock the Steam Deck 2 to your monitor and use it as a mini desktop PC without compromise. There's also talk of dual display support, which would allow users to connect an external screen while still using the handheld screen as a secondary display. Perfect for streamers, creators, or multitaskers. The dock itself might get smarter too. Rumors say it could include faster Ethernet, additional USB-C ports, and even support for external GPU enclosures in the future. That would be a massive game changer, letting users scale performance beyond handheld limits. Valve is clearly thinking of the Steam Deck not just as a handheld, but as an entire ecosystem. Audio and haptics, subtle but important. Good sound is underrated until you don't have it. The first Deck speakers were decent, but leaks suggest the new one will use an improved dual-driver setup for clearer mids and richer bass. That means better immersion, especially in games with cinematic audio or environmental soundscapes. Haptic feedback is also getting attention. Valve has a history with precise haptics, especially from the Steam controller days. The Deck 2 might include more refined haptics for the trackpads and triggers, adding subtle vibration cues that enhance control without feeling gimmicky. These are the small touches that make the device feel premium, even if they don't show up on a spec sheet. Valve's vision beyond hardware. Every piece of news about the Steam Deck 2 points to one clear idea. Valve isn't chasing specs for the sake of it. They're building a platform. The original Deck proved there's demand for portable PC gaming. The sequel aims to perfect it. Valve wants the Deck to be more than just a product. They want it to be a part of gaming's next chapter, a world where your entire library goes wherever you go, without barriers. They're building for the long run. And the leaks show that this isn't just a mid-cycle refresh. It's a foundation for what's next. Summary of Section 1. So here's what we know so far. A new custom AMD APU built on Zen 4 and RDNA 3. An OLED or high-quality 1080p display with higher refresh rates. Improved battery life and smarter efficiency. Refined design, better cooling, and quieter fans. Faster SSDs and larger storage options. SteamOS 4 with next-gen Proton integration. Enhanced docking and hybrid PC console functionality. Better sound, improved haptics, and smarter power management. These aren't just spec bumps. They're real, meaningful upgrades that touch every part of the experience. The Steam Deck 2 isn't about replacing your console or your PC. It's about blurring the line between them, giving you the power of a desktop, the freedom of a handheld, and the soul of the Steam ecosystem all in one place. And this is only the beginning, because in Section 2, we'll dive deeper into the leaks around AI-assisted performance tuning, new cooling technologies, potential partnerships, release windows, and pricing. If what we've seen so far is any sign, Valve's next big move isn't just about a better handheld. It's about redefining what gaming on the go really means.